Throughout January we've seen transfer records tumble. Barcelona broke theirs with Philippe Coutinho, Liverpool did the same with Virgil van Dijk, and even Southampton broke their record, paying £19 million for Guido Carrillo, who will probably be a Liverpool player in 18 months' time. But what about those teams that haven't broke their record in a while? Here are 8 clubs across the world of football who haven't broke their transfer record in more than 10 years. First up we've got Celtic, whose transfer record is still £6 million for Chris Sutton in 2000. They also matched that fee with John Hartson a year later, but Celtic's transfer record has stood for nearly 20 years, not just 10. It's not mattered too much, the Hoops have still dominated Scottish football, except for the 3 back-to-back titles Rangers won between 2009 and 2011. With the lack of money in Scottish football, it should come as no surprise that Celtic's transfer record is so low, with their record-breaking deal coming at a time when the division was at its peak. Celtic came kind of close last summer to breaking their transfer record when they signed Olivier Ntcham from Man City for £4.5 million, but their record acquisitions remain Chris Sutton and John Hartson, 2 strikers who had great success at Celtic Park and are both now pundits, with varying degrees of success. Next we've got Rangers, whose transfer record is still Torre Andre Flo for £12 million in the year 2000. Proof that the Scottish Premiership was seeing a boom in the year 2000, Rangers' record deal also dates back to the dawn of the millennium, signing Norwegian striker Torre Andre Flo from Chelsea, who did well at Ibrox before flopping incredibly at Sunderland. In 2018, it's no surprise Rangers haven't broke their record, considering their financial woes that have seen them struggle to piece together £12, let alone £12 million. Next up we've got Lazio, who haven't broke their transfer record since the year 2000 as well. The Italian giant spent an incredible £35 million on Hernan Crespo, a world record fee at the time, and a fee that would still turn heads now, especially in Italy. Crespo scored 48 goals during his 2 years at Lazio, during a time in which the Rome-based club were hoying a lot of money about at the likes of Gazzetta Mendieta, Juan Sebastian Veron and Jaap Stam. However, they haven't came close to touching their record in recent years, with their most expensive outlay in the past few seasons being the arrival of the impressive Milinkovic-Savic from Genk. Next up it's Leeds United, who haven't broke their transfer record since the year 2000 as well, when they paid £18 million to West Ham for Rio Ferdinand, which was a record amount for a defender at the time, a record that Rio Ferdinand would hold twice in his career. Just like Rangers, it should come as no surprise that Leeds haven't splashed out in the past 18 years, considering their financial peril that saw them eventually drop to League One at one point in time. To put things into perspective, their 13 most expensive transfers came between 1996 and 2001, with the £4.5 million arrival of Adam Forshaw this month being Leeds' 14th biggest signing ever. Next up it's Roma, whose record signing is still Gabriel Batistuta from the year 2000, once again. Another Argentinian striker joining an Italian club in the year 2000, Gabby Batistuta cost Roma €36.2 million from Fiorentina as the striker went in search of the Serie A title. Scoring 20 goals in his first season, Batistuta did just that, showing Roma he's worth every penny. Roma's last big signing was Juan Iturbe in 2014 for €22 million, but they're still yet to come close to breaking their record 18 years later. Our third team from Italy is Inter Milan, whose transfer record dates back to 1999. One of the biggest clubs in world football, Inter Milan haven't been scared to splash the cash in recent years, paying big money for João Mario, Jeffrey Kondogbia and Gabriel Barbosa, but their record transfer is still the arrival of Christian Vieri in June 1999. The forward cost Inter £32 million, a world record fee at the time, and scored more than 100 league goals for the club, winning just one trophy during his 6 years on the blue side of the San Siro. PSV have been known for selling players for big money in years gone by, but they've never seemed to fully reinvest that money, with the likes of Memphis Depay, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Gini Wijnaldum and Arjen Robben leaving the club for bigger fees than PSV's transfer record. The Dutch club's record is currently held by Matija Kezman, who cost €11.3 million from Partizan Belgrade in the year 2000. The Serbian striker would have a ridiculously good goal-scoring record in Holland, which earned him a move to Chelsea in 2004 for a surprisingly low £5.3 million. And finally we've got Newcastle United, who haven't broke their transfer record since 2005 when they spent £16 million on Michael Owen. Much has been made about Newcastle not breaking their transfer record for so long, especially with pretty much every club around them doing just that, paying big money for players while the Magpies sit there counting the pennies. There was talk of them breaking their record in January, but that just proved to be nonsense as they haggled over the price for Nikolai Jorgensen. When Michael Owen arrived, it eclipsed the record held by Alan Shearer, whose £15 million move to Newcastle was a world record fee at the time in 1996. Well, in 2018, you can buy Neymar and Felipe Coutinho for the price of Newcastle United Football Club, two players worth more than a whole football club. Will they ever break their transfer record? Not if Mike Ashley can help it. So those are 8 clubs who haven't broke their transfer record in more than 10 years. Let us know of any more in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.